All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 24 of the Maritime Hockey Podcast. Sponsored by Now We're Convenient and Iowa Tire. Wow, episode 24 is crazy that this is our 24th episode. We came a long way from the start and we're just keep growing and growing. This episode, we're going to talk about a 26-year-old goaltender who started in his NHL debut with the Washington Capitals and got his first NHL shutout in his debut. That person's name is to be coming up. We're also going to talk about the Jack Eichel trade to Vegas and Cole Caulfield getting sent down to the Laval Rocket in the AHL. So, without further ado, let's get into our first subject, which is Washington Capitals 26-year-old goaltender Zach Fucale played in his first NHL debut, first NHL game, making his debut for the Washington Capitals, and gets a shutout in his first NHL game. Unfortunately, the shutout was against my Detroit Red Wings, but not even mad that we got shut out. I'm really happy for Fucale and really proud of him. Obviously, Fucale, a former Halifax Moosehead and Memorial Cup champion in 2013. So it was really nice to see too, because Fucale, he's been bouncing from leagues to leagues and different teams in the AHL, ECHL, East Coast Hockey League, and different NHL teams too. So, and those teams never gave him a chance to play in the NHL, and then Washington finally gave him a chance. He finally plays in his first NHL game and gets a shutout in his first NHL game. So I bet you right now all those other teams that passed on the chance to let Fucale play are looking pretty stupid right now. So just wanted to say big congrats to Zach Fucale on his first NHL shutout in his NHL debut. Also, Fucale is the first goalie in Capitals history to play in their NHL debut and record a shutout. So that's awesome, making Caps franchise history there. So yeah, 26-year-old, he's still pretty young. So yeah, it's nice to see, and hopefully Washington will give him more chances to play too. I'd love to see that. Also, I'd like to share with you guys here, I have a Zach Fucale Halifax Mooseheads card right there, right? The name's backwards, but you can tell that's Zach Fucale. That's actually from his 2013 season where he won the Memorial Cup with the Mooseheads. So yeah, I imagine the price of this card's probably going up pretty high right now, but the card is not for sale. Anyways, yeah, it's great to see Fucale finally get a chance in the NHL and record a shutout in his first game. This is really a big inspiration for young kids looking up to him. It definitely inspiring a lot of young kids, including myself. And I'm not even a goaltender, but he still inspires me, and really proud. I'm really proud of him. He's my favorite Mooseheads goalie of all time, always will be. So yeah, really, really proud of him. All right. That will lead us into our next subject here, which I'll pull up here in just a second. Okay. So yeah, our next subject here will be about the Jack Eichel trade to Vegas. So that's right, Jack Eichel actually, after all the trade rumors and talks and all that saying he wants to get out of Buffalo, poor Jack Eichel has finally gotten out of Buffalo and has been traded to the Vegas Golden Knights. Uh, he's Here's the trade right here. You can see the Golden Knights tweeted out there on Twitter. Official. The Golden Knights have acquired Jack Eichel and a conditional pick from the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for Alex Tuch, Peyton Krebs, and 2 conditional picks. Jack Eichel is a Golden Knight. So Jack Eichel finally gets his shot to play for a better team, I guess you could say. And yeah, so Jack Eichel going to Vegas in exchange for Peyton Krebs and Alex Tuch. Alex Tuch, pretty good player in my opinion. Peyton Krebs, pretty good decent prospect for them too, I'd say. But yeah, Jack Eichel too. He went through his surgery with Vegas, got the surgery that he wanted. The doctor said his disc was a mess, so they had to replace that. Eichel said he's feeling great now. You know, he said he went for a walk around in the city after his surgery and is feeling great. Yeah, so his expected return is not till after the Olympic break, but they're saying it could be sooner where he had his surgery now and all that. So that will be interesting to see for sure. But yeah, Vegas needed the #1 center too. And now they got that #1 center, but now they're going to be dealing with some cap issues coming up too. So it'll be interesting to see who they get rid of maybe at the trade deadline and all that stuff. So, but I think this is definitely a great trade for Vegas, and I think Jack Eichel will definitely do really well on the top line for Vegas. Also, in the trade talks here, the other team that was in the trade talks for Jack Eichel, because it was between 2 teams, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Calgary Flames. It says right here, the Calgary Flames were also deep into talks with Buffalo general manager Kevin Adams this week, sources told ESPN. The price was way too high for him, obviously, in terms of what we have sent to Buffalo. But at the same time, for a player of this ilk, it should be a high. Golden Knights GM Kelly McCrimmon said in a news conference Thursday. For me, when you look at what an NHL contending team should look like, he's really an important piece of that. Eichel, 25, was obviously the #2 overall pick by Buffalo in 2015. He is in the 4th year of an 8-year, $80 million contract, and in the last year before a full no movement clause kicks in next summer. However, his relationship soared with Buffalo last season over a disagreement over how to treat herniated, can't even say that word, disc in his neck. The Sabres preferred that Eichel, yeah, we all know that. But yeah, so yeah, Calgary was never team that was in the final trade talks for Jack Eichel. And yeah, they wanted to offer Vegas or Buffalo, sorry. They Calgary wanted to offer Buffalo Matt Tkachuk and a few picks too. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, there's no way Calgary's gonna give up a player like Matt Tkachuk. Matt Tkachuk fights hard. He's a gritty player, and he's really good for Calgary. So I was like, yeah, there's no way they're just gonna trade Tkachuk and a few picks for Jack Eichel. That's would be too high of a price to trade for. So I didn't see that happening. So once I saw that deal come out, I was like, yeah, I think he's going to Vegas. And sure enough, he did. Funny enough, it just seems like all the superstars go to Vegas. They're definitely putting together a powerhouse team over there, and wouldn't be surprised if you see Vegas win the cup this year or in a couple years down the road for sure. The next few couple years. Our next subject here is a really interesting subject that a lot of people were not happy with. A lot of people were pissed off about this. I found it interesting myself too and surprising, and that is Montreal Canadiens forward Cole Caulfield getting sent down to the Laval Rocket, the minor league AHL team for the Montreal Canadiens. Caulfield this season in the NHL only played 10 games and had 1 assist, or sorry, 10 games, 1 point. 1 point in just 10 NHL games. And the Montreal Canadiens said, yeah, we've seen enough. You're going down to Laval to get your confidence back up. And then once you have that confidence again, we'll call you up. Which I thought it was really surprising because obviously everyone knows how Caulfield did with the Montreal Canadiens in the playoffs. He did fantastic, had a great season for them too, and really had high expectations this season too. A lot of people were calling him Calder Trophy favorite and all that. But yeah, I definitely found it surprising that they sent him down because even though it's 10 games and he only had 1 point, I think you should wait a bit on your young talent. Like obviously Caulfield still a really young player, right? So yes, he's gonna do good, but it takes a while for young players to get used to the feel of the NHL and all that. So if I was Montreal, I would have just kept him there and waited it out maybe a bit longer. And then if you're like maybe like into 16 games or around there and he still only has 1 point, maybe then send him down. But 10 games, I don't know. It just kind of surprised me. But I guess they send him down there, get his confidence back up. They call him back up once he has that confidence, and then he'll do well for Montreal again. I don't know, but I just found it surprising too, and a lot of people were pissed off too. It's actually funny too. I saw on Instagram there was or no, it wasn't on Instagram. It was actually on TikTok. I saw it. A video. Apparently, this fan in Laval jumped over the glass and ran onto the ice, went over to the Laval Rocket bench, and tried to get Caulfield to come back, tried to tell Caulfield to come back to Montreal. So I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, Cole Caulfield getting sent down to the Laval Rocket. I'm not sure how much points he has in the AHL right now. I can look that up though. Cole Caulfield. See how much points he has in the AHL right now. AHL.com. Here we go. Come on, load up. Here we go. Cole Caulfield to Laval Rocket. Okay, so this season, 2021-22, he's played 5 games in the AHL so far, has 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points. Okay, so 4 points in 5 games played. Not too bad, right? Almost a point per game, pretty much. So not too bad. 4 points, yeah. So I think they'll probably keep him down there for a bit, and once he starts racking up the points and gets really hot, they'll call him up and help out Montreal, because as we all know, Montreal's really struggling this year. I mean, a big part of that is they don't have Carey Price. Supposedly he's expected to come back soon, still dealing with his family issues and personal stuff. So, but that's definitely hurting Montreal for sure. And not only that, but of course they don't have Shea Weber, and they lost a lot of guys from their playoff run last year too. So, but yeah, Cole Caulfield doing pretty good in the AHL this season so far, and hopefully he does get called back up to Montreal, because I definitely do think he deserves to be up on the Canadiens with Suzuki and them. But yeah, that's pretty much gonna do it for this episode, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry that this episode has been late to get out there. Schoolwork's just been really busy lately. If you guys for understanding, and I'll see you in the next one.